So I just was blown away from that technology. And I was like, we really need this for hair. This is amazing. So with those two interactions, I decided that I wanted to open up a natural hair beauty supply store. I know I didn't want it to look and feel like a traditional beauty supply store where you go in and it's just stuff everywhere, it's boxes on the floor. I wanted it to be more welcoming because when we're talking about natural hair, especially to a Black woman, that's such a big part of who she is and how she shows up every day. And a lot of times when you don't feel good about your hair, you really can't really be your best self. So I knew that this had to be a very safe and intimate space. So I started to
Mm,
research what was already out there. I looked at a couple of places in Texas that kind of did the boutique style. I visited some Black owned beauty supply stores here, also just Asian, the ones that I normally go to. And I just started making notes and paying attention to how they ran things. And so I started with the business plan. I was looking for places. I was telling my sister about it. And she's like, yeah, I think this is a great idea. You should do it. And then my mom passed. My mom passed
mm,
of March of 2016. Suddenly, she was only 58. And so, as
wow.
anybody know that has experienced loss, that could be a catalyst in your life. So
Mhm,
I sat there. She worked for the government. She had a good government job for 35 years. And they brought her boxes. She worked from home, but she still had, an office and they brought her boxes and put them in my foyer. One of her friends packed up her desk for me. And I sat there and I looked at those 10 boxes for about 2 days. And I just sat there and I was like, this was my mom's life and her job. She worked it, she didn't care for it. She complained, but it put food on the table and she did what she had to
mhm,
do. And as I looked at those boxes, I was like, this is something I got to jump. I can always go back to banking. One thing that's a good thing about banking, you can go back to it. Once you have those skills, they're yours. And I decided to jump. I went
mm,
and I started a lease. I negotiated. Wasn't getting really, they weren't being serious because, I have a baby face. So I did have to go get me an old white broker and he negotiated those times for me.
That's so
And he
funny.
negotiated a great lease. So he got me into a good lease, and then we opened for business in February of 2017. And
Mhm,
I opened. It was just at that time we were just a retail store. We had about 35 different lines. I looked at all Black owned brands because what I wanted to do is I wanted to create shelf space for us because again I didn't see it in the big box stores and I knew the Asian salons they were carrying big some of the brands but they didn't care because they knew they weren't getting the same margins, so they had to buy these things at higher margins so that it would be old product on the shelves. So I went in with all Black owned brands. Most of them were small online so that now they can have retail space. And then I also had an oil bar where you could do your own DIY, make your own oils and body oils because I had to cover all spectrums of the industry. And that's how we started.